Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Milah.
And it is the first Wednesday of May. Welcome to May. This month's theme is A Good Mom's Guide to, and we will be unpacking all of the amazing stories and just inviting a few really amazing and dynamic guests to talk about motherhood, to talk about our book, which is officially on motherfucking sale right the fuck now.
How do you feel? You have been a published author for one day.
I feel liberated.
I do.
I feel liberated, you guys. I know you think you know all our business, but you don't. There's a lot of shit in here that I haven't felt comfortable sharing on the podcast. And for some reason, when I put pen to paper, I really felt like I could eloquently get it off my chest and be done with it. And I'm fucking done with it. And recently, something came up in my life that really showed me that I'm done with it. You know, I'm really done. Like, I'm not affected any longer by the people and the things that have hurt me. And if you read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you follow social media, then you probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know. But anyway, I'm being cryptic because I want you to read the book. But I feel good. How do you feel?
I do. I feel liberated. I feel that. I think that for a very long time, we've been writing this book. And for a very long time, only you and I had read it. You and I and our editors. And, you know, our editors are some of like our agents are not moms. Our editor is. And so, you know, I was anxious about the feedback that we would get and how our community would receive it. And not that I don't think it's good, but this is a new format for us. This is a new, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, you know, artists use different mediums. This is a new medium for us. And, you know, I had my best friend read it and she read it in one day and I was like, you know, and she was like, I loved it. And then we've had a couple interviews. We had an interview with The Root and we had an interview with Essence, and both of them, one of them read it and they really loved it and she really resonated with it. So the more I get a little bit of feedback, I'm like feeling more confident, and I feel liberated. I feel liberated in my truth. I feel liberated, and this is what I'm here for. And you know, you may relate, you may not, but you're gonna get this book, and I hope that you guys have gotten it, because I don't know if you guys know this, but authors only can become best-selling authors. They have 1 week. They have pre-sales and they have a week. And right now we only have about 4 more days until our sales are in. And if we've never asked you for anything, please, 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 please. This is a huge project for us and we really need your support. If you listen to us, if you just started listening, not a lot of Black women get to become first-time authors, and this was pretty divine. So if you're listening right now, stop bullshitting. Go to goodmomsbadchoices.com, click the book link on the drop-down, and pick your poison. You can order from Barnes & Noble, you can order from Target, you can order from Amazon, and you can order from a Black-owned bookstore, Malik's, which is selling signed copies. And you can support 2 single Black women, moms, first-time authors.
Yes, it's true. We are shamelessly begging. Yep. Just because, you know, we have really put a lot of our business out here. A lot, mostly for ourselves because it's cathartic. But if any of the stories that we've shared have helped you, have resonated with you, have assisted you through any part of your journey, like I really just want to ask you to support us in this momentous moment for us, you know. And our tribe is really important to us, and we don't ask you just to say like, yeah, just buy the book and that's it. We have a lot of offerings for you guys too. Once you buy the book, if you go on our website, which you can just click the link in this episode description, you get a ton of freebies. After you buy the book, you put your order number in and boom, you get a bunch of shit in your email address from, actually, I'm not going to put it all out.
Your email address?
I mean, in your email. Jesus Christ, my brain. You get a lot of free stuff because we are all about reciprocity. Is that the word?
Reciprocity.
We are all about reciprocity, and we want to keep giving you the things that you need, the things that have helped us. And I'm just really excited for you guys to read this book. I'm really nervous, but I'm really, really excited. We're also doing a giveaway. If you want to enter the giveaway, we're giving away a free trip to the Good Vibe Retreat in Mexico in July when you purchase the book. So we're going to select one woman. You do not have to be a mom, just a woman. Once you purchase the book, you can click the link in this episode description and upload your receipt to enter the giveaway. And we are announcing the winner on Mother's Day. So I'm just really excited to be able to offer you guys so many things. And in exchange, I am asking you for your support.
And for those of you who already pre-ordered the book and you got it in the mail yesterday, the deepest thank you. Please read it, and as you read it, please let us know how you feel about it. Send a story. Actually, I really want everyone to share their bad choices. Like if you've had any bad choices, like please add us and tell us, because I want to read it along with you. I want to feel how you feel. I want to know if it resonates, and if it does resonate, what parts, and that will make us feel really good and know that the work that we're doing is, being received. We we get to hear from people in DMs, but if you're like hesitant to reach out or you think it's weird, it's not. We're friends, and I want to know. I want to know your feelings and like what came up for you. These things are important to us. Please connect with us on our socials and let us know, how you feel about the book and all that good stuff.
Yes, all those things. Sorry, what?
Nothing. I was just going to say it's affirmation time, and because we have so many affirmations in our book, and it's May, and it's a Good Mom's Guide May, I have a couple. Well, fuck, I was going to just like scroll and then see where it stops and then read that part, and I did it before we started, and now I lost it. I'm going to have to find it again, but I'm going to do that for the affirmations. Unless you have a special affirmation.
No, go for it.
Okie dokie. This affirmation is: advocating for and keeping my peace is my birthright, and no one comes before me when it comes to my well-being.
Advocating for
and keeping my peace is my birthright, and no one comes before me when it comes to my well-being.
I think that is like a major challenge for most moms is really advocating for yourself, and not feeling guilty about putting yourself pleasure, yourself love, whatever that looks like for you first. Society tells us that motherhood is a sacrifice. It's sacrificial, that we are sacrificial lambs. That is really the narrative that has been painted, unfortunately. And, even in this book, we really challenge that aggressively, and really advocate for you to change your mindset, because you can't be a good mom when you are running on empty. You cannot be a good mom when you are giving everything to everyone else and putting yourself last. These are things that seem really basic, right? Like you see these things on social media, you hear people talk about this, but are you actually applying this to your life? Are you actually doing this? Are you totally burnt out? Are you totally exhausted? And granted, it's not always perfect. There will be times where you will be. There will be times where it will be hard to find the balance, but you have to remember this affirmation in those times to kind of come back to that idea, come back to that, not even idea, come back to that application in your life, because it isn't just an idea. I think a lot of times we hear affirmations and they just become ideas. They're things we say and then we forget them. And it's like, how often are we actually applying these affirmations that we read on Instagram to our life? Are we just saying them in the day and it helps us through, or are we actually applying these things? So
are we saying them once and actually not believing them?
Yeah, and you might not believe them. It takes time sometimes to really believe that.
You have to practice an affirmation repeatedly until it truly you believe it and it resonates. And sometimes, honestly, it takes like months or years. There's been things programming I've been telling myself for like, and to acknowledge that the programming we tell ourselves is often negative and for so long that it takes an aggressive amount of positive affirmations to make it sink in.
And we were talking about this on I don't know what podcast it was because we've done so many, but just you kind of have to go against yourself. You kind of have to just do the exact opposite of what you've been programmed to do. Like you have to get uncomfortable making other people uncomfortable with your new boundaries, with your new no's, with your new yeses. And that's challenging. It really is. But it gets easier. It does.
And it really gets easy setting boundaries and standing in whatever makes you happy or fulfilled when you are around people that honor you and your happiness and your peace and are there to help you and like not make you feel crazy for advocating for yourself. And sometimes it's hard to find those people because even as women, we judge ourselves and then we judge each other, and that prevents us from like having deep connections and deep friendships and like finding a tribe. But if you guys are those moms or those women who are in the house all the time, sticking to your routine, not veering out of it, not venturing out to do anything new, you're not going to find new friends. You're not going to find your tribe, and you're not going to be able to practice what you preach and practice, keeping boundaries and, just being you and authentically. And I feel like sometimes people feel like it's difficult to find women like that, women who are going to accept them, women who are radically accepting of other women. And I think we are afraid to find that, afraid to tell the truth. If you're one of those women and, if you're on the socials, we are going on tour and all of our people come and all of our people are radically accepting. It's like we've definitely cultivated a community of like radically honest women, and I'm so proud. And like if you're in the New York area, we'll be in New York we'll be at City Winery on Friday, turning up. Moms and women need to take breaks, and if something like going to a live podcast show alone is not something you would typically do, this is your sign.
This is your challenge. I want to challenge you right now to get out of your comfort zone.
Honestly, just be like, fuck it. I'm going to go. Like, who cares if it's alone? Like, maybe you ask a friend to go or whatever. She might buy the ticket. He might not, whatever. But like, pull up and really like take a leap of faith because, I mean, honestly, this is how we got here. Erica pulled up on me. This stranger bitch pulled up on me at the club in the bathroom and was like, we're going to be friends. And at the time, I know it was awkward and uncomfortable for her. But like, thank God she did, because now we're delivering a message, lots of messages, and it's a game changer. Like doing something different from what you're used to doing could potentially be a life-changing thing for you, a life-changing decision. So a lot of times we get comfortable in our routines, we go to work, we come home, we feed the kids, we feed the husband, whatever, you bend over, all the things, and we forget to say like, wait, hold up. Like, let me do something spontaneous. Let me frolic. Let me do a cartwheel right quick. Let me go down to the bar and meet these bitches that I've only listened to, and now they're here, and that seems totally weird, but I'm going to do it. Like, do something for yourself. Come get a drink. Come hang out with us. Dress sexy, because that's what we like to do. And, like, if you came to our last show, you already know. It gets pretty, like, this is a production. We take this craft very seriously, and we're extra ass bitches. So the show is always extra. There's always special guests. There's always surprise components. And I guarantee you, everybody at this show is going to welcome you with open arms, because honestly, that's just the kind of clique we roll with. And like, I've seen it transpire time and time and time and time again, because honestly, like this friendship has like opened us up to just opening the arms and the love to other women, and like it really is felt. So if you were just on the fence, if you usually don't do things like this, if you've never gone to a live show, please come kick it with us. We're just gonna have a really good time. We're going to drink. It's Cinco de fucking de Mayo. Whoop, whoop. These two bitches love tequila. We retired from tequila and touring, but for this launch, I think it's going to be a tequila time.
Yeah, because I don't know if you listen to our episode Rockstar Moms, but bitches were falling apart on our last tour with the amount of drinking that was happening. I don't have it in me, but on Cinco de Mayo, the fuck I do.
It's not only is it Cinco de Mayo, it's the first launch week of our first book, and we're going to be in the Today Show. We're actually
going to be on the Today Show tomorrow. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday when we drop this episode, we are going to be on the Today Show in the 9 a.m. hour, talking about our book, talking our shit, really trying not to curse, because we're not supposed to do that. So we're going to have to wrap up those bitches and fucks. So just pray that a bitch figures it out.
And then post us. I really want you guys to post us on the Today Show and then tag us so I can feel famous. I want to repost it. So if you're a Today Show watcher and you are up at 9 a.m. on the Eastern Standard Time, you need to get your phone out. Not only turn to the channel, get your phone out, tag us so I can repost it and tell my mom, look, Mom, I told you I was famous. And then like maybe one of my salty ass exes that I blocked will see it.
This is fact.
And be like, oh, God, I shouldn't have been such a disrespectful dickhead. Look at that famous fine ass bitch now. Okay, that's the toxic part of me talking.
When you come to our show too, if you want to hang out with us, get the VIP ticket. The VIP ticket comes with a book. Comes with a book that we will sign right there and then. Write whatever the fuck you want. I love you. I want to lick your titties. Whatever you want me to write, I'll write it.
Don't say lick your titties. You know,
I said I'll write it. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, okay.
I might. Who knows? Who knows?
I know.
You might. You'll never know unless you come. So
you won't know if you get a little titty lick. Well, maybe one titty.
I do like licking titties. So it could happen. You never know.
I've been
because in our last tour, Jamila propositioned, like literally like put us on the meat market on stage and was just like, who wants to have a threesome tonight? Basically. And I was like, bitch, what the fuck? And then we had hoes whispering in our ears at the meet and greet like,
unicorn. I said whisper in our ear, unicorn.
You whisper in the ear unicorn. I had like 5 women like unicorn.
I know we show up. I know we show up super fun and uncensored. You know what? I thought about this. Okay, so I thought about this recently because we went to Mexico, and they were like, we got these cards pulled before we did this ceremony, and in preparation for our retreat that's coming up, which was a beautiful ceremony. But one of the cards was like, you don't have to be like, hold on to the parts of you that you used to be. And I was like, is God telling me that I no longer need to identify as a party girl?
Is that what came to you? Is that what you identify as?
No, but not necessarily. But there have been a couple of times in like my life I went to therapy and I was like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. And they're like, do you? Because you're saying that adamantly. And I was like, you shut up. But I was just thinking about us, and I was thinking about, I do think that we've heard it from other moms, like, I'm cool, but I'm not as party as you. Or like, I think because we show up so honest and we tell a lot of party stories, a lot of entertainment stories, a lot of stories of our high funds. And I think that people have this perception, or can have this perception of us, that we're like some wild moms, or, or whatever. And then I was thinking like, I hope like people don't hang out with us and then they're like, they're boring.
So is that why you feel like you gotta keep this persona going?
No.
Is that why you told everyone to whisper fucking unicorn in our ear?
I was just saying like the growth and like the perception of us. And I at a show in DC, we were at the club with some like we're those girls, like there's an after party, meet us at the table. And this girl came up to me and was like, I don't know if she said if she can 3-way make out with us. And then I was like, you have to ask my boyfriend. I was like, go ask Erica. I don't know. But I was
and then she did. She came over and asked me, and I was like, no, girl, no. Did
I do it? I know I asked Orlando. I was, again, the tequila and the touring. This is why we retired it, because I got a little beside myself.
Listen, there could be a chance I might put my tongue in your mouth. You'd never really know. Have I made out with a fan or not, or someone who listens to us? Yeah. Yep. I have. Bitch.
Oh, okay. No.
Well, bitch, you were there. Who? Not Orlando dying in the other room. Yeah, it's happened. It has happened.
Yeah.
You just never know what could happen. So this is
all that to say.
Don't
expect us to be super crazy party all the time. But also you never know. I don't know. It could go either way. It's gone either way a lot of times, but don't hold us to that. But it could happen, especially on a Friday. That is also the launch of our book that took 2 years to write. That is also the day after we were on the Today Show, which is also it's also on Cinco de Mayo. It's a strong possibility that anything's happened.
The stars seem aligned.
This is basically like we'll be vulnerable.
Wait, listen. You will get a free trip to Mexico. You will get free shit. We might lick your titty. We also might make out with you. You want a threesome? Whisper unicorn. Like, this is our shameless bag.
This is making us seem like
We're desperate assholes.
A tray of meat at a party, the pass around tray. Just come take us. We're vulnerable. We'll be really happy and excited and friendly that day. Take your chance. $135 ticket could get you a makeout. with both of us. We might throw Orlando in too.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. That doesn't support us turning a new leaf at all, but
So basically, you are still a party girl. And I still might make out with you. So here we go.
yeah.
Also, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, then you know New York is a very dangerous place for us.
You know what? The coordinates make me crazy.
I never got my astrocartography reading from that hoe that kept canceling on me, bitch, if you're listening, who also took my money. But I would like to say that I think there's something in my astrological chart as it pertains to New York City, and probably yours as well. Maybe it's just bitches in general, because I find that most of my friends, when they go to New York, they wow the fuck out. I think it's because there's fun on every corner.
Birds of a feather flock together.
And, for the people that are from New York and live there, they're like, I don't like, it doesn't pertain to you because you're there all the time. It's bitches that are travel there that don't know how to act. And,
AKA us.
Yeah. For much of my singleness, I spent time in New York, and every single time, without fail, I was a hoe there.
I'm having flashbacks.
I did
as you're saying this.
It
is stressing me out. I feel stressed. Like I'm having a specific thought, and I was just like, "Am I a dumb bitch?"
You're a fun bitch. I had so much fun. I've had so much fun in New York. It's just one of my favorite cities. It's just fun on every corner.
There is
I think that I think I thrive there too. There's like
there's an energy.
There's an energy. Like I don't know, the men there, they just fuck with this. They fuck with the Scorpio energy. I don't know.
There's like a few cities that have like an endless amount of fine niggas, and it's New York, it's New Orleans, it's those two. Yeah,
it's New Orleans.
New Orleans has fine niggas. I don't know if they have jobs, but they are fine, and they have those accents that throw you off, and you're like, "You want me to come home with you?" What'd you say? There's also a lot of bars in those cities, and Atlanta too. Atlanta gets you crazy because every restaurant, even the regular restaurant, is the club. The club.
It's true. I don't know. Atlanta's confusing.
I
don't really know what you're gonna get there.
I did so much partying in Atlanta that I
There's a lot of perpetrating in Atlanta.
A lot.
On all fronts.
I think I expired.
Sexuality fronts, all types of fronts happening.
When I went to Atlanta this last time, I went out by myself because I had to get out the house, and I went to meet cousin Chris, and we went to dinner, which is always the club, hookah, and then we went. Then they're like, come to MJQ. Shout out to Goddess Jessie. I was like, I must see my bitch. And they were also saying that MJQ was about to move locations, and everybody knows the underground location's the epic location. So I was like, if it's the last time I can go, I have to go, right? Because I have FOMO like so bad. And then I went and I hung out and like I smoked and I partied, and then I got in the Uber and I went home like a regular bitch. No, actually, let me tell you. Erica's going to get a kick out of this. I am so greedy. I just want everyone to know the level of greed that I go to. I take all my food home. I know people think it's like ghetto, but like if I have
literally, it'll be a corner left on the plate. Just like, I'll take it home.
I went to dinner with cousin Chris.
I'm like, girl.
And his cousin who kept ordering shots. And I was like, bitch, you're trying to get me fucked up. I already got, like, Erica's like my mom, like, we have to record in the morning, so don't stay out too late. I was like, I'll be back. We get to the club. We Ubered to the club. I had my, like, doggy bag, and I can't take it in the club. Do you guys know?
Did you go hide it so you could get it
later? I hid it.
I know you did.
There was a fence.
I fucking know
There was a fence like this. It was like somebody's house, and I was like, hold on. I put the bag over the fence. I was like, it'll be fine. Went in the club, came back out. I was like, oh, but come with me across the street. I got to grab something.
What is your food scarcity problem?
I don't know.
Like, did you not have enough food as a child? Like, what is the problem?
I gotta ask about that. I don't remember starving as a child. I don't know if we were always like plentiful, but like it's extensive. And I took it home only to leave it in the refrigerator where we were staying.
You always do this. You don't ever eat it. I don't barely ever eat it, so it's just a waste.
But it's like then I'm gonna get high and I'm gonna be looking for it and I'm gonna be pissed when I don't have those 4 bites. But anyway. I need to get a psychologist about, not a psychologist, a psychic about that shit. You need to figure out where you're supposed to thrive with locations. That's a cardio. What did you call it? A cardio?
Cartography. cartography reading.
A cartography reading, for those of you who didn't know, is it's going to tell you your coordinates.
Cartoastrology.
About where you're supposed to live and
where you're
thrive.
supposed to live, or like where your vibration is highest, like where places you should travel to.
Where your vibrations is hoest.
Maybe you might find your new future husband, wife, whatever, lover. You know?
Yes. I'm sorry, I got so thrown off by my dumbass food story that I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, anyway, I thought it would be a good...
Did you eat? Oh, you didn't eat the food.
I forgot. It was delicious. It was shrimp and risotto, and I forgot it in Samaya's refrigerator, so I hope somebody ate it. Anyway, we thought it would be a really cool idea. Last week we had our kids come on for a little bit. If you guys didn't catch it, it was really heartfelt. And then we extended the episode in Patreon. So if you didn't check out our Patreon, we're dropping some juicy shit over there. We also have a lot of behind the scenes from the book that we'll talk more about on Patreon. So it's going to be, a deep dive.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that we could, like, just like we pulled tarot, you should pull a card. But I just like did one of those with the book, and then I just stopped somewhere and said, "This is what God wants me to read."
Okay.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually my part. So those of you who haven't ordered your book yet, but you're doing it right now as we speak, I just want you to know that the book we're co-authors. So each chapter you hear from me, and then you hear from Erica, or Erica then me. I don't remember.
I think it switches sometimes.
But we're going through the same parts of our lives, but a lot of it is separately because we didn't know each other for a long time. Pre-motherhood, during our pregnancies and our births, and after motherhood. And so it's someone described it as the A side and the B side to a cassette tape, which I really liked. And she said she looked forward to each story. And quite frankly, you can read each story simultaneously. You can read just Erica's, and then you can read just mine. It's two stories in one. Anyway.
It reminds me of The Love Below.
What is...
Don't remember that album?
Yeah. This is the Love Below of books.
The Love Below of books.
I'm
Andre?
Andre. Yeah.
I'm a big boy. That's cool.
Okay, so this chapter is called "Fuck, I Just Had a Baby," and if you guys are expecting or you just had a baby, this may resonate with you. Or if you were thinking about having one, listen closely, my dears. About 2 weeks into motherhood, my baby daddy asked me for some head, and I almost lost my shit. Was this what I had signed up to do for the rest of my life? Supply others with me? I was pissed, and suddenly all the hype of wife life felt more like the Twilight Zone.
I'm going to do sound effects.
Okay. I think I used this reference twice because that's the only scary one I know. The word forever began to ring and really sink in like a horror film.
Dun, dun, dun.
I couldn't escape.
Fuck.
Couldn't this motherfucker see how much I had just given? How my body and spirit had just experienced something out of this fucking world? At that moment, I felt postpartum depression creeping in my back door. I tried to fight it by jumping headfirst back into my life. I literally took Luna to the mall at 7 days old, and a random stranger looked over at me and said, "That newborn needs to be inside." I was mad and ignored the fuck out of that woman. Who was this stranger, and was I already a terrible mother? I went back to work with Luna 2 weeks after giving birth. I even made it to a New Year's Eve party 4 weeks postpartum, again, with Luna in tow, and all of us in matching tuxedo outfits. I was determined to preserve my old life, and honestly, my baby daddy mostly supported me in that, as long as he was included in all my activities.
I'm a cool mom.
You have to read to get the book to hear more.
You won't hear those sound effects. I know. It's going to be devastating.
So you can imagine where that story goes.
Okay, is it my turn? If you're not watching on YouTube, you should.
I'm giving the vibrations to the book to deliver everyone exactly the message they need to hear right now.
Oh no, this is your. Should I read? Should it be mine or yours?
You should read yours.
Okay.
Because I already read mine.
Nope. We're still. Okay. Okay, here we go.
What chapter is this?
This is "Fuck, I Just Had a Baby." Is the same one you just read?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. A week before my due date, we set the inducement for April 24th, 2015. Dr. C-section said it was better to set a date to make sure a hospital bed would be ready for me. She told me that waiting any longer than 7 days after my due date would make the probability of a natural birth much lower. Fear-mongering was her specialty, and I felt myself falling into her trap. I went home that day and had a little talk with baby girl in her new room. Over the past few months, I had meticulously prepared her space, and the final touch was the rocking chair, where I spent many days deciding what she would look like. My mom had told me that she did the same with me, and I came out looking exactly as she manifested. Big curly hair, her daddy's eyes, chocolate skin, dimples, and my lips were what I imagined for Irie Jane. But this time, as I rocked back and forth, I visualized my water breaking in the shower, me giving birth quickly, and BD catching our baby. As I envisioned what I wanted, I felt overwhelmed with panic. Could I do this? I had spent so much time preparing everything else that I hadn't really thought about the details of my birth. Oh my God, this baby has to get out of me somehow, right? Will she break my pussy? What if I can't push her out?
Maybe.
Will they have to use that suction thingy that makes newborn heads look like cone heads? What if she suddenly goes breech? Could I die during childbirth?
Yeah.
Could she? At the time, I had no idea that black women are 3 times more likely to die during childbirth than white women. And thank God I didn't, because I would have spiraled even more. My thoughts started to go dark, and so I just stopped thinking about the birth and hoped for the best. The well-informed woman I am today wishes I could offer that previous version of myself a hug and tell her to keep going, to keep envisioning what she wanted. I wish I could tell her that manifesting and believing in her capabilities would be her superpower, and that she could do this exactly the way she wanted. Back then, I called BD 911 and told him to come over immediately and fuck me.
911. What is this? The 90s? A beeper? Make it sound old.
911, come fuck me, nigga.
I need to get fucked. Take this baby out. That's actually a really good way.
Yeah, and then it was the fucking didn't help. No, sure didn't. Neither did the salad that they told me I should eat with some sort of special ingredients or some shit. But yeah, I think about that time in my life often because I didn't get to have the birthing experience that I know for sure my body was capable of having. I was really robbed of that experience. And, I didn't have the wherewithal to advocate for myself at the time, especially being the only mom in the group. I didn't know Jamila yet. So I didn't have my friend who had these, I guess, these tools that she didn't even know she had to just say, no, this is what the fuck I'm doing. Even after doing the research, even after watching The Business of Being Born, doing all the things, I still questioned my body's capabilities. And it's probably one of my biggest regrets of my life, to be honest, is not staying true to what I wanted, because ultimately I was robbed of that experience. And I do blame my doctor for that. She was careless and she wanted to check, period. And she got it.
I mean, and that's the thing. I think thankfully, like you said in that chapter, is like, I didn't know that I was 3 times likely to die either. And thank fucking God, because it's already like so scary and it's already the unknown. And we were pretty young, I was 26, you were 27. And, when you get put in, like, you're vulnerable when you're giving birth, like, think about an animal who, like, goes to take hiding, goes to retreat when they're giving birth, except there's not a bunch of medical doctors intervening, but, you are vulnerable, and people tell you what they think is gonna, speed it up or whatever. And, even for me, my birth didn't go exactly how I wanted to go. And granted, I had to go into labor early and be induced. And I did get to deliver naturally because I finally just gave in with the epidural. But I can only imagine how you feel, because even I want to redo and I want to do it at home and, like, do it the way I want to do it. But I think ultimately, too, you guys, it's like having the tools is super important. Advocating for yourself and trusting your body is super important. But I always say this, but, like, birth can truly be orgasmic, and it can truly be a rite of passage, and it's supposed to empower you. This is, like, really, like, where, like, you transform your superpowers. Like, Transformers or like the Power Rangers, is because like once you give birth and you get through that, you're like, bitch, I could do anything. And it really doesn't matter how you bring the baby, you know, to earthside, you know, vaginally, epidural, no epidural, cesarean, however way you do it. Motherhood is, once you start on this path of motherhood, it's a huge, you know, it is a rite of passage. But I really hope that people hear our stories and understand how important it is to advocate for yourself, and that you choose a partner that will do the same for you, and that you are really educated and empowered before going into the hospital, because it's a game changer, and they will trick you and they will try you. And like even me, we had different birth experiences, but I had a very specific birth plan written out. I made them copy it, made Xeroxes, and give them to every nurse on fucking shift. I was there for 3 days, and one of the things I said is, don't offer me any medicine. And what did they do?
Offer you medicine
immediately. And you're vulnerable and you're like, whatever. I took the time to meticulously write out this birth plan, and you're fucking going against it. But it doesn't, you know, in that time, people want you to get the fuck out the bed so they can make room for another one. And you know, it is a business. And I hope that other Black women, I hope this information doesn't scare you, but it empowers you to just, you know, do what's right for you. And sometimes that's against what your partner says, it's against what your mom says, and you got to kind of like sit in whatever your intuition says for you. And just reminder that our bodies are made to do this, and they can do this, and they're capable. And you know, the doctor will tell you a bunch of shit. The baby's too big, you too small, your pelvis is too tiny. But you know, look at this pelvis, pushed out a baby. So you know, just keep that in mind.
I also, like, something you said really resonated with me that I want more women, specifically mothers, to understand, because I think that a lot of moms that have given birth, they're tired, they have all these things, right, where they feel like it is a rite of passage, absolutely, but I think mothers oftentimes, they don't feel empowered after birth. They don't feel like, I can do anything. You can do anything. You literally created life. You can do anything. So if you right now are feeling stuck, if you're feeling ashamed, if you're feeling less than, if you're feeling unattractive, you can do anything. Literally. You created life. And for the women that, you know, choose not to create life, cannot create life, whatever the cases may be, it does not matter. We are women, period. We are life creators, whether that is from the womb, from this womb, from this womb, from this womb. We are the creators. Don't you fucking forget that.
And for those of you who are listening, she pointed to both our womb, our heart, and our heads.
Yeah, these are all wombs. Shout out to Queen Afua, who really pointed that out to me. It was something that I never even really considered, and it's absolutely true. And I think there's a lot of shame, too, for the women that can't have children, that, you know, they're broken,
and that's not
that
true.
They are less than that they are somehow less than in their womanhood and their femininity, and there are so many other ways that we birth that are equally as powerful, equally as who the fuck is calling me right now, equally as powerful, and a rite of passage in itself. So I want you to really, really know that, because a lot of people will tell you different, whether that is your partner, your mother, maybe you've made some bad choices that have put you in a position where you feel fucked up. You created life, bitch. You can get out of it.
You can get out of anything. And then I think, you know, even for that chapter that I just read, I read a lot of books that empowered me. And that's why I initially planned on giving unassisted home birth. Like I couldn't afford a midwife, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it with my friend's mama. And I was confident in that. And I mean, obviously there was fear, but like there was less fear doing it at home unassisted than there was going to the hospital. And I ended up having to go to the hospital, and I ended up getting an epidural, and I ended up like all these things like that interrupted the flow of what I wanted to have. They almost broke me. And to the point where, you know, we're talking about feeling empowered in birth, which, you know, socially, that's not what you're going to hear. You see images of women crying and in pain and all these things. It's never anything a positive experience until after the baby is born. Like we don't see birth associated with pleasure. We don't see birth associated with feeling empowered. And I felt I felt adequate in my body before, even before going into the hospital. But those 2 days after, I was like, oh, no. I'm broken. I just felt like a push, like a pin, like a pin cushion. I like people coming in and out of the hospital, popping your legs open, probing you, putting things, connecting things to you, waking you up, giving you medicine you didn't even know what it was that you didn't ask for, making you go to the bathroom. If I didn't know better, I would be like, this is the opposite of a rite of passage. This is trying to break me. Mm-hmm. And when I went home, even I was just like, even with the baby, like I wanted to breastfeed, and it felt overwhelming. Like everyone was taking from me, and I wasn't even human anymore. And nobody talks about that. And to the point where I just talked about my baby daddy asking me for some head. And I literally felt like that was the bottom. I was like, oh my God, I've fucked myself. Everyone expects me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have anything to give after something so incredibly life-changing. And it felt draining at the time. And luckily I had the tools to kind of like rebuild myself up. And even if it was a slow process, and for us, it took us like starting this podcast. I felt like I felt myself wither away slowly. Like everybody was taking from me, and I feel like a lot of moms feel that. If you're running a household and being a wife and you're being a mother and you have all these expectations because God forbid you don't suck dick and make dinner by 8, you're a terrible human being. It's like there's so much pressure put on us to deliver in a certain pretty little box, and it's just not realistic. And I hope if anyone's listening to this and they're pregnant or they just gave birth and they're feeling alone and they're feeling like, why do I feel this way? And everybody on the internet is smiling and looking happy as fuck. It's a lie. Okay? Everybody goes through this. Motherhood is not some easy transition. And a lot of times you will feel high and you will feel low, and that is normal. And I think there's a lot of guilt associated with feeling low because you're like, I just gave birth to this beautiful baby.
You're supposed to be happy.
Am I ungrateful? And it's like, no, you're a human, bitch. And that shit is a lot. It's some alien-like shit that takes place. And it's even if you've done it multiple times, it's still it's a huge, not a setback, but it's a huge shift. And so honor that and give yourself grace and space to feel multiple ways at one time.
Yeah. And this is, as you know, for mothers that have multiple children, or if you're just becoming a mom, like, this is where the boundaries come in. This is where you tell your partner, no, not today. And I really hope that we can encourage more men to do more research around motherhood. I want to encourage men to read this book.
Give this to the new dads too.
So that you know how to support your partner, so that you know what questions to ask, so you know what the signs to look out for in postpartum, where you're like, why is my partner such a bitch? Why is she not want to have sex with me anymore? Like, it's been a year. Like, get over it. Like, these are things, there's a lot of things in here that I didn't know how to vocalize at the time. I did not know how to tell my partner certain things. I didn't know why I felt certain things because I thought I was supposed to be happy, and now looking back, I obviously have more tools now to express this, but it's a beautiful, terrifying, exhilarating, life-changing experience is what motherhood is. And there's a lot of glory in it, but there is a lot of sadness sometimes, and it does get better. It does get better. And, I think sometimes people, look at our podcast or look at moms talking badly, and I'm putting air quotes out, about their kid or we had Jessica Rose on the show months ago, and she was saying how she regrets motherhood, that she regrets the role that she's had to play in motherhood, like this unexpected role that she as a woman has to play as a mom. And I think so many women resonate with that, but feel horrible for saying that out loud.
The anxiety that automatically comes that is inherited when you give birth. There's an anxiety that exists that didn't exist before. You're constantly worried about this other person and if you're doing a good enough job and if they're getting what they need. And like even in the early stages of motherhood, it's like, oh my God, am I going to drop her and she's going to die? Like these are regular thoughts. It's like almost preparing you to catch her if she falls, but it's scary.
There's no aftercare for moms that enter into this new phase of their life. Everything is poured into the child. The baby shower, you get tons and tons of shit for this baby. The mom gets nothing.
This is for the mom. This book that we wrote, for real, this book is for the mom. This is for the pregnant mom. This is for the I'm thinking about maybe being a mom. This is for the I'm not having any more kids mom. This is for the I'm getting a divorce mom. This is for the married mom who feels alone. Like literally a lot of mom books are basic and they tell you about how to care for your kid, but a lot of them don't tell you how to care for yourself. So if you're looking for a place to feel normal in whatever transition you're going through in motherhood, or in womanhood rather, this book is for you. This book is to say, drop all that shit and here's how you tap into yourself. You're welcome.
Did you pull a card, my love?
I did. I don't know what this one means. It's a 5 of Swords.
5 of Swords.
And
there's a man facing the other way. There's a man facing the ocean, what looks like a bay or an ocean. They're all facing away except this one man with his 3 swords.
Looks like he's 1, but I don't know. Oh no. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Can I just pick another one?
No, you can't.
This is not for us. This is for
someone
somebody
else?
listening. This is for someone listening. I don't resonate with this. The 5 of Swords turns up when you have had a falling out, disagreement, or conflict, and you're walking away with a sense of sadness or loss. You may be upset and resentful over the heated words you said, and now wish you could take back bad blood and a general ickiness hang over you as your relations have turned sour. Even if you won't wow, can I fucking read? If you won't give it to me like I can help that. Even if you won the argument or came out of the apparent victor, you realize that you have lost as much or more than your opponent. This battle has cost you trust, respect, or dignity, and isolated you. As you try to pick up the pieces and set the conflict behind you, you find it's more difficult than you thought. Others have lost faith in you and are keeping their distance. You will need to decide whether your point of view is so important to you that you're willing to put your relationship in jeopardy, or if you can compromise and see eye to eye. Sometimes you don't need to compromise. I mean, this obviously is saying that maybe you went too hard, but
maybe it's about the judgment of yourself. Like really, like you've betrayed yourself in ways. That's kind of like what I'm getting from it. Not necessarily, outwardly, but inwardly.
Choosing your battles wisely. And in much way of the life, battles wisely is a much better way of life than engaging in every disagreement. Not only will it lead you to more peaceful existence, but your interpersonal relationships are likely to come out stronger. I mean, I think sometimes it's like we pick ourselves apart. Everything is like, oh, you said the wrong thing. And I do this, like, you did the wrong thing, you're not doing enough. Like, that inner voice is harsh. And sometimes it's just not that serious. Like, we fuck up. We say this a lot, but beating yourself up after the fuck up extensively is really not, it doesn't really shift anything or change or make anything better except make you feel worse. And it's harder to get past it into the next point. So, I think in motherhood is one of those things. We're constantly picking ourselves apart and how good we deliver, how good we show up. And if we fucking got to the soccer game and like, I spoil my kid just out of pure, I don't want to traumatize you, and I can. Like she's throwing a fit. She wants ramen or sushi, and it's fucking like, I'm like, fine, fuck it. I'm gonna give you sushi. Like, you're such a brat. Like, okay. But it's just like, sometimes, like, you're doing a good job. You're a human. Pick the battles that you choose with yourself, like, love yourself, love on yourself, like, so much. So then other people will know how to love on you, and pick your battles wisely, even when it comes to you. Stop obsessing over things that you cannot change, boo. you can't change some shit, and sometimes you're not supposed to change them. You're supposed to shift and be a different person, and that doesn't mean that you beat yourself up over them.
Mm-hmm. And even if it's not the battles with you, it's like, it sounds like this card too is like, how do you react to certain things? Like, I think about my relationship with even like my mom, for example, and how it's shifted over the years. Like, yes, there's times in which I can, moms, they know how to trigger the fuck out of you. Okay. They know how to do it. And I was having this conversation the other day, and I was saying, God, like, I look at my daughter, and there's certain times, a lot of times, where I'm just like, I don't want to say mean to her, but like, I'm just like, this is what it is. Like, because I said so. That's why, and I don't think that idea and that energy always just changes as your child grows up. And I think a lot of times adult kids and adult parents, that dynamic still exists, where that parent doesn't really give a fuck what they're saying to you, because they're your mom and they're going to tell you how the fuck it is, and they don't really give a fuck about your feelings. Kind of like what we do with our kids. Like, this is what it is. I'm telling you this because if I don't tell you, someone else is going to tell you, and my reaction used to be combative all the time. And, me and my mom had this disagreement the other day. It wasn't even a disagreement. It was just like, she said something that made me have mom guilt. And
when we were in Mexico?
No.
Oh.
No. No. She said something that made me had mom, like, she said, like, she was going to take Irie home, and we had just got back from Mexico, and I was home for one day, and then my Rome was coming over, and she was like, I'll take Irie too. I'll take Irie. Do you want me to take Irie tonight, and I'll take her to school since he's coming and you haven't seen each other in a long time? And I was like, okay, cool. So then we went to dinner, and we were eating, and then we're about to leave, and then she was like, you've been gone a lot. You've been gone a lot. You were gone. You just were back, and now, like, basically saying, like,
maybe you should take her.
Maybe you should take her. But I was like, you're the one
who even brought this up.
Suggested this, Oh, I know why. Because Irie had a sleepover the night before at her friend's house. So I had her for one night, and then she went and had a sleepover at her friend's house, and then my mom was going to take her. So I was just like,
don't do that.
Okay, well. And so then I said, Irie, do you want to come home with me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I just came home, and she's like, is she coming with me? And I was like, no. And she was like, why? And I was like, it's fine. We're just going to go home. But any other time I'd been like, well, this is why. And then we got on, and then she texted me later, like, what happened? And I was like, well, honestly, my mom guilt creeped in because of the comment that you made, And so I decided to pivot. And she was like, I could tell she wanted to, like, kind of like go back and forth with me about it. And I just, like, kept it as, you know what, Mom, it's fine. It's all good. I figured it out. Like, I didn't really appreciate that since you offered to take her, but it's cool. We figured it out. And that was hard for me because I really wanted to say, like, what was the point? What was the purpose of this? You just wanted to hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Like, do you just want to hurt my feelings? Or you just had this feeling and you just couldn't shut the fuck up, so you just felt the need to say it? And that's what it is. A lot of times moms, not just my mom, I'm a mom as well, we just want to say what the fuck we want to say. We don't want to shut the fuck up because we're the parent, And I have to remember that these moments when Irie grows up, like, trying to remember how this makes me feel and to not do that,
Yeah. My mom does that a lot. And, it's interesting. I think even in motherhood, like, happy birthday. You're an 8-year-old mom today.
Thank you.
8 years is not that long in the game, but there's a period to get confident in it and to really, like, be like, hey, that wasn't cool. Like, even to your own mom, and, like, even set boundaries with your own mom and, and with your kid and with other people. And there takes a time where you're like, damn, do I even know what I'm doing? Like, should I just blindly take this advice and then feel guilty or harbor this guilt because my mom said this, or my grandmother said this, or this person said this. And it's just like a part of this work as moms is also shifting the things that you didn't appreciate or didn't contribute positively to you as you were growing up. And I'm going through some shit with my mom right now, and it's just like I've had to create a lot of boundaries. And and feeling bad about it in ways like it is your mom and it's someone who's raised you and they fed you and they cared for you, and it's just like, even like, we're all human, and moms, I've really recognized how much I've had to be the mom, be the parent to my parents. Like, you guys are immature. Wow, like, are you in high school? And it's like, maybe still meant, like, emotionally, spiritually, they may be. And it's just like, it's this, again, standing in who you are and what you're doing, and recognizing that sometimes if you being the bigger person is just being like, okay, cool, all right, or like, you know what, like, she's not coming over there anymore. You're doing stuff that I don't do in my household, and I love you, and we love you, but this is where we're going to pivot. This is where this shit's going to shift, because you did this to me, and you're not about to do this to my kid, and you're not going to continue to do this to me. So, and there's even guilt in that,
Absolutely. And I was thinking about this situation actually today, and I was like, she didn't even apologize after I told her, like, what you said, like,
hurt
my feelings, and clearly totally shifted what was the plan, even though you offered the plan. And I thought to myself, God, like, that has been a theme in my relationship with my mom, is her lack of apologies, because she's not sorry, and like, she's not going to apologize if she doesn't think she's sorry. And I'm the child, whether or not I'm in my 30s or not. And I think about, my daughter, and I'm just like, man, I am making a vow to myself that even when I am not sorry, if I see that my daughter was hurt by something, I will try to do my best to
at least acknowledge
it. It's not always going to be perfect. And this is not a slight to my mother. She has been a great mother. And I think that because I have shared my experiences in my childhood, and like, some of them have been difficult for me, and like, my relationship with my father, and even my relationship with her, she has this kind of blanketed vision or perception that I think my childhood was shitty, and which is not the truth. Did I have shitty moments in my childhood? Yes. Are there things that affected me in my childhood? Yes. That is life. That is any person's experience.
Everybody's going to have trauma.
But we take motherhood, our mothering, so personal, and I get it. And I'm only an 8-year-old mother. I only know as much as I know, so I'm only at the very beginning of this journey. And she's much wiser than me, so she understands more than I do. But I think about just being able to acknowledge when you've hurt your child, whether or not you meant to or not, and being able to at least have the conversation about it and not sweep it under the rug and just say, okay,
I'm the adult, or I'm the parent. But honestly, Erica, the truth is like, and to a lot of you listening too, is that for a lot of us, we have consciously evolved emotionally much more than our parents have. I think, we're in a different time. We have access to there's a lot of mental health.
There's a lot more information. There's a lot more. You have so many more options and perspectives to choose and pick from.
And some people take it, some people don't. And I'm not saying we're perfect. And we're like, Mom, like, no, and
Mom, you know a lot more than me. Yeah, you do. I acknowledge that.
But it's also just about, even in the, like, I've had to be soft with my mom in times. Like, I wanted to be like, bitch, and like, me and my mom have had like a very up and down relationship, and like, I don't want to be like cursing my mom out. I don't want to be cursed out by my mom. That's not what I aspire for. But a part of it is just recognizing, like, in ways that hasn't developed, like, emotionally, and it's harder for her to say sorry. She's come from parents who probably didn't apologize, and she hasn't had to do a lot of apologizing. And so even for me, like, apologizing is not my strong point. And I understand her in ways. But I also understand that we are living in a space where we're constantly evaluating ourselves and constantly trying to show up as better versions of ourselves, even if we're not, hitting all the points all the time, because a bitch can go off, but I think it's important to acknowledge that age is just a number, I don't know if I should quote that man.
Who?
R. Kelly.
Oh.
But it is very well possible that you, as the child, can be the shift even if it's gentle, just gentle. They hear, they see, they feel. She knows. She knows she didn't. She knows what she did. And I think sometimes when you're not combative and you're not snapping back, and they start to notice that you are reacting differently, then they don't have a choice but to also follow suit.
The narrative is that I'm overly sensitive. That's always been the go-to whenever I have a problem. You're so sensitive. You're sensitive. Yeah. You birthed a sensitive child. Like, you did. And so now you have to deal with it. And now you have to figure out how to parent me, the sensitive child, you know? And I think as parents, we often we're like, I don't want to deal with that. We'll figure it out. We'll like, stop being so sensitive. Like, that's just not that's not who I am. I'm a sensitive person. I feel a lot of things. And I am considerate. I don't ever want to feel like I'm a burden to anyone. It's been just extremely challenging for me to ask for help. It's been extremely challenging to ask for help, even from my family. And it's just like, knowing these things, it's like, sometimes I feel like they're used against me in ways. They are. And instead of just saying, okay, I don't really understand where that wasn't my intention. Like, I would have even accepted that. Like, hey, that wasn't my intention. If that's how you felt, I'm sorry. That really wasn't. I just wanted you to acknowledge right, that you've been gone a lot, and it seems like Irie wants to go home with you tonight. Done. It's simple as that. I'm not really looking for like, I'm so sorry, Erica. Like, you know, and to be coddled. That's not the vibe. I know that's not what I'm going to get, you know? So I don't know. It's a reminder to me as a parent too, to check myself now, because these are when habits are made. How you parent your child now is ultimately you're creating habits for how you're going to parent them as an adult as well. And when your kid is grown and doesn't want to fuck with you because now she doesn't have to, you can't be mad. You know, and I'm always gonna fuck with my mom. This is not that serious at all. But I'm just saying, for the parents that are listening that maybe have older children that don't fuck with them, or, you know, or you are that kid, like, these are the reasons why. It's because we get into these habits of how we treat our children as kids, and then we don't grow from that. Our motherhood doesn't grow.
I mean, and let's face it, like, it's easier to take out things on the people that are closest to us.
Absolutely.
Because you're comfortable doing that, and you know they're always going to love you, and they're not going to stop being friends with you.
Yeah.
They can't.
They could, and they do.
But but you know,
it takes a lot more, though.
It takes a lot more to cut off, you know, a parent or whatever. So, yeah. Healing. Mm-hmm. Healing and motherhood.
Well, anyway, guys, I love you. I thank you for tuning in to this episode. Thank you in advance for purchasing A Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices, now available everywhere.
On Audible, too.
If you like listening to the sound of our voice, then you can also listen to the sound of our voice narrate our book, which I think is really special. Yeah, we did our thing. We put our little spice on it. It ain't one of them boring-ass audibles that you hear. And if you're in the New York City area, we are coming to City Winery on May 5th. So come fuck with your girls. It's a Confessions of a Good Mom tour. So we are confessing a lot. We want you to confess a lot. So make sure you call our hotline. We have a special hotline where you can confess anything, like anything. It could be that you don't fuck with your husband, or that your husband's dick is terrible, or that, you know, you did something nasty this weekend.
That's right. You can dial us in at 818-213-1287 and confess. And we might just share your confession at the show. And it can be anonymous. Just don't say your name. Also, we have a show in DC coming up on May 21st and in Philly on May 25th. And we are really excited to connect with our people again. We had a lot of fun in both of those cities. You know, Philly's my hometown, so I look forward to, you know, coming back through and saying hi to my peoples and having a good, jolly old time.
So make sure you click the episode description for all this information, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.